I grew up hearing stories about this place. It's called the Whaley House in San Diego, California, and apparently it's one of the most haunted places in America. And I do want to mean that like it's supposedly haunted. And then some ghost hunters went there with their cameras and they picked up some EVPs and whatnot. No, this place is legitimately haunted. People die there all the time. Well, not all the time, but often enough that there are articles written about it and there are YouTube videos covering it. The reason why is because this house is allegedly built on top of a Native American burial ground. Now, the story goes that when they were building the house, they found bones in the backyard and they just kind of figured, hey, we'll just build the house on top of it. You know, whatever. So they did, and then people started dying left and right. There was one family who moved in there, and they only lasted 6 months before they had to leave. There were so many deaths and tragedies that befell them while they were living there. There was a young girl who lived in the house with her parents. Her name was Delia. She was 7 years old and she died. Not in the house, though. She died in the backyard. Allegedly, she was playing in the backyard and a tree fell on her and crushed her to death. But ever since she died, her spirit has been haunting the house, moving objects, shaking beds, even interacting with people. In fact, there's an audio recording of an interview with one of the investigators from Ghost Adventures, and while they were talking to him, the camera picked up what sounded like footsteps right above them. And then when they looked up, nobody was there. And it wasn't just like a one-off thing. This happened multiple times throughout the night, and if you listen closely, you can actually hear the footsteps. It's not just Delia though. There's another little girl who haunts the house. Her name was Ivy, and she died in the house. The year was 1901. And Ivy, along with her 2 brothers, were playing in the attic of the Whaley house when all of a sudden the floor gave way and the kids fell through and were crushed to death. Ivy was only 6 years old, but since then, people have reported hearing her voice in the attic and even seeing her actual ghost walking around. But that's not all. Those aren't the only deaths that occurred in or around the house. The first owner of the house, Mr. Whaley, he died in the house in 1901. And his wife, after he died, she kept having visions of him around the house. She even told the press about these sightings, saying that she would see him sitting in his favorite chair in the parlor. And then shortly after, she said that she died of a heart attack. Then there's Yankee Jim, who was a close friend of Mr. Whaley. He died on the streets of San Diego in 1916 after being shot by police. But before that, he lived with the Whaley family for a time in the house, and he's also been seen as a ghost wandering the halls. And there are other ghosts, too. There's a woman in a Victorian nightgown who appears in photographs. There are disembodied voices, footsteps, shaking beds, and every Halloween, they say that the ghosts come out to play. Now, normally, I wouldn't cover a story like this. I'm not really into ghost stuff, but this place is in my hometown, and I've always been curious about it, and I've never been able to find a good story about it until now, so I wanted to share it with you guys. If you're interested in visiting the Whaley House for yourself to see if you can pick up any ghosts, then I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is that it is open for tours. They offer daytime tours and evening tours, and the evening tours are the ones where they tell you that you might be able to pick up some ghosts. The bad news is that it costs money. It's not cheap either. It's $40 for adults and $30 for kids. That's for the daytime tour. If you want to do the evening tour, then it's $50 for adults and $40 for kids. So, yeah, if you want to go ghost hunting at the Whaley House, you gotta shell out some cash. Personally, I think it's a little bit ridiculous. But hey, maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll see a ghost or two. Or maybe you'll hear some disembodied footsteps right above you as you're lying in bed trying to sleep. Then again, maybe that's just rats. I don't know.